Alrighty, so just got back from the theater watching Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, and figured it would be the best time to talk about it. It's not too late, so um, I'll just get right into it, honestly. Um, I really don't understand why they would have spoiled really the only twist in the movie in the trailer. When I first saw the trailer for this a couple months ago, I was like, oh, because it starts with they're at a concert, and then he's like, hey, buddy, what's with all the police? And the guy's like, I'm not supposed to tell, but they're here to catch this murderer, this serial killer.
The feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him.
And I was thinking, oh, his daughter's going to be missing, and he's got to figure out, he might have to figure out, like, where his daughter is or something. Who knows what the twist could be. But then in the trailer, it immediately tells you that he's the killer. So then you go, well, what could the twist be then? Because M. Night loves his twists.
What a twist!
So unless there's no twist, I don't know how you could out-twist the twist that he's the killer. It really sucked because in knowing that, you go into the movie, which, I mean, they show you within about 15 minutes, but you go, you couldn't save that at all? Like, you couldn't form a trailer in a way where I could see, the twist. And so I know M. Night, his movies haven't been the best for a while. I didn't see the one with Dakota Fanning or her sister, where they're like in a cabin in the woods. I have not watched that one. The Visit I thought was okay. The Happening is like a joke.
Plan on murdering me in my sleep.
What? No.
It's one of those, like, guilty pleasures almost. And yeah, by me yawning, again, it's going to give the, oh, God. Can't ever stop yawning. But, yeah, I like Split. Glass was a letdown. So, kind of sad that I feel like his last good movie was Split. And I don't even know if he was the director or if he was just like a producer. But with this one, and the main guy, I think Josh Hartnett, I think he's a great actor. I think every movie I've seen him in, he's a good actor. Basically, I mean, I can't really. I guess I could spoil it. I mean, I'll get to that in a second, but it's overall just an okay movie. I think it's fine for a watch. Maybe once. And maybe if you do buy it on DVD, it's like you have your family over and you're like, here's a fun thriller. It's PG-13, so it's not too bad. Which kind of leads into pros and cons, which I'll get to in just a sec. But overall, it's an okay thriller. It didn't do anything new, nothing really creative. It was just that's interesting. Kind of felt like it could have honestly been an episode of like a cop TV show, like Law and Order or something. The acting is overall good from Josh Hartnett, but there's times where it's so over the top, like, look at me, I'm crazy, where it felt kind of like, M. Night's like, yeah, play it up for the camera, just go crazy, because he's like, thank you. And like throughout the movie, they're like, he's a master manipulator, he's so good at lying, and then he's like, I'm obviously lying. So that felt a little odd, but I guess, yeah, it has like the beginning, middle, end. Yeah. God, already tired. I think the first 70% kind of feels the same. And then the last 30%, you're like, okay. It's finally getting to that third act doing something. The first and second act almost feel the same. It's almost the same kind of scene over and over again. So that's that. There's really no music in a sense of there's music like the singer in the auditorium, but but there's no like bing 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 boodum boodum, you know, or whatever, like whatever, where you're like, oh, jump scare, whatever. What movie was I watching? There's some movie I was watching recently where it annoyingly did that for no. Oh, it was Reptile. Yeah, it was annoyingly kept doing that. But yeah, I guess I'll go into spoilers. So click off now if you don't want to see spoilers. But yes, like the trailer spoils, the main character is a serial killer, and he's there with his daughter to see some musician named Lady Raven, which is M. Night's daughter, I believe. And of course, M. Night is in the movie because he has to be in all of his movies. But you realize, or the character realizes, that it's a trap, that he's there. And so, he's trying to figure out a way out and how to get out of this. And so I would say the first 70% of the movie, I say the first 70% of the movie is him trying to find ways to escape the concert. And there's neat moments where you're like, oh, okay, he's like smart and really creative with how to escape situations. But there's also, suspension of disbelief, whatever, where he talks to a guy. The guy sees that he was like nice about one thing and has morals. So the guy's like, let me let you in on a secret. This is all a trap to catch a serial killer. And, here's also a secret code that the police told us in case, they got to identify us. And that was where I was like, oh, you found the dumbest employee possible. Like, you would think at that point they would have, like, undercover cops being the employees, whatever. And it's just a little, like, pure luck. Everything else, I was like, There's a moment where he gets stopped by police on the rooftop, and they're just like, oh, yeah, you knew the code, so whatever. No, I'm like, you're telling me you wouldn't pull him aside and be like, let's just talk to you for a second. Or while the police are briefing in a room, he just walks in and he's like, oh, sorry, employee, just here to make coffee. And not one cop is like, you're not supposed to be here, even if you are an employee. What the fuck? Instead, they're like, yeah, where's the sugar? He's like, oh, under here. And it was just like pure luck. And then, like, yeah, we're going to have a yawn counter up here. I'm just going to already put it up from the beginning. But there is the singer where, because like the guy keeps leaving, coming back, and then finally he tricks one of like the managers, which is M. Night, into believing that his daughter just recovered from cancer and she would love to dance, or just kind of brings it up. So they get to go backstage, and then finally he just, oh yeah, Kid Cudi is in this movie. I swear that's Kid Cudi, wearing a white wig, and he's gay, and it was like played off so comedic, which is another thing I find so weird with M. Night movies is he wants to keep making thrillers and like movies, but then he keeps adding in really cringe humor that never works. It didn't work in The Happening. It didn't work in The Visit. It doesn't work here. It's like, bro, the movies that you made that were really good basically didn't have humor in them. The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable worked so good because you actually took it seriously and it wasn't a fucking joke. But yeah, basically he finally just confronts the singer and is like, oh yeah, you're looking for me. I'm the butcher, and I can kill this guy right now in my basement by carbon monoxide poisoning unless you let me leave with you. And then like it leaves the concert and you're thinking, oh, okay, like it's going to end in like 10-15 minutes. There's like a whole 40 minutes after that where it's like, in his mind he's like, yo, like just drop us off in the corner where I'm going to get away. And then the singer girl's like, actually, little girl, how about I come to your house? And he's like, oh. I'm like, well, duh. And so they do that. And then the singer keeps asking the wife and like kids like, "Oh, have you heard this new story about the butcher?" And he's like, "I think it's time for you to leave." She's like, "How about I play a song before I leave?" And it just becomes this like, tense scene. A lot of good tension, but she takes the killer's phone and starts like live streaming and is like talking to the kidnapped victim. What's the last thing you remember? Blah blah blah. So she starts live streaming, asking her fans like, look for a neighborhood that's got a broken lion statue and an apartment with a blue door. And they're like, oh my god, So they get him out, and he's like, wow, you're a clever fuck. And they basically, show that he had mommy issues, and that the profiler told everyone to try to like act like the mom and like talk to him. So the singer tries to do that and is like, nobody told you to don't talk back, blah blah blah. And he's kind of playing along, and then he's just like, it doesn't affect him. So he's just like, fuck you. But then his family's blocking the driveway. He was going to take the singer somewhere to kill her, but can't. She gets out of the car, and he's like, fuck, because the police are coming. So he just shuts the garage. He's just chilling in his house, knows the police are surrounding the house, and then you're like, oh, what the heck? And then it cuts to a police officer driving by, and walking by, tells the limo driver like, I got this, leave. Takes the limo, and I guess I thought the family was in the car with the singer, but I guess not. But he's driving the singer, and then she realizes it's him. He's trying to handcuff her, and then a bunch of people start surrounding the car, realizing it's her, trying to get pictures. She freaks out, escapes, so he quickly gets out, sets up a little prop, and then dresses like a crowd member. The police come, surround the car, shoot the dummy, realize he's somewhere. He's running away. The wife, for whatever reason, stays home by herself, and they're like, we've got 2 cop cars outside. And then he just magically shows up. And honestly, I will say, because I'm so used to him doing a twist, I thought there was going to be a twist, where like, oh, the wife's in on it, or the whole family's in on it. But no, actually, he's actually pissed off, because it turns out his wife thought he was cheating, realized he might be a serial killer, and then saw that receipt he bought for the tickets for the concert, and so she tore it up and left it there for the police to find. And that's how they got the track that's probably the butcher, and how they found he was going to be at the concert. So he's basically there to kill his wife and then kill himself. And the wife's like, sorry. Let's have some pie before you do this. But she basically laced his pie with like paralyzing drugs. So he's like doped out, and then he has like a vision of his mom, and it's he's visioning her, but then like 3 cops show up, tase him. Then he's like incredibly strong, uses his thumbs to puncture the eyes of 1 cop, starts trying to attack another, and then they finally just keep tasing him enough that he passes out. And then they're taking him out, and he's like, hold on. Because he hugs his daughter, and her bike is down, so he's like picking it up, and he's like, goodbye, bike. He doesn't say that, but he's like patting it like, goodbye, bike. And goes in, and it just like cuts to him like laughing while he's in the back of the car, and he's laughing because he had taken a piece like a bicycle wheel. How there's like the straight wire bar that holds, it together, like the little thin ones. He had ripped one off somehow, and had it in his sleeve. So he unlocks his cuffs, and he just keeps laughing. And then it cuts. I was like, what? Like, okay, so he's like the Joker, where it's just like, I'm always gonna find a way out, he. And it's interesting, I guess. I mean, good on M. Night, I guess, for not doing a twist ending. You spoiled the twist in the trailer. But I just felt like it kind of fell flat. Like, he gets tased, gets taken away, and then, Like, I can appreciate that they didn't, it wasn't rated R, full of blood and gore. But I kept thinking, wouldn't it be so just absolute fucking crazy if he just like killed his family or something, just something so crazy, and or just more of like figuring out about him something crazy. It was like, oh, the trailer quite literally just kind of tells you the movie. He, he escapes, gets caught, and then it alludes to him escaping again. Okay? And we know he's a killer. We know he's hiding somebody, so it was more of, I guess, the tension, but the trailer really just, like, you would have to find somebody who had never heard of this movie or the trailer and show it to them so that in the first 20 minutes, they're like, whoa, And like I said, with watching In a Violent Nature, I like the movies where it's, from the villain's perspective. I want more of that. It was unique to watch a movie where you're like, I want this guy to get caught. Like, this guy is a piece of shit. He's a serial killer. And the tension is like, oh my God, like, how is he going to get caught? Blah, blah, blah. But it was, unique in that aspect. But just kind of, the cinematography, like the camera style, just very, very thriller-esque, where it's it'll be, I don't know what it's called, but someone walking down a hall or someone talking, and it's like the behind the head perfectly centered in the shot, viewpoint, more like zoning out kind of thing. And or when they're talking, it's like I can't even get close to my camera, but it's like right there, and it's like, yeah. And they just kept doing the back and forth where it's so superimposed on their face. I'm like, God, ugh. And yeah, Josh Hartnett, like him acting crazy, psychotic, I thought was a great job. There were just some scenes where you're like, okay, Joker, calm down, like over the top. And again, they kept saying like he's this master manipulator liar, but it was so like just kind of cringe, the level of, Smiley, I'm crazy. But my wife asked, she was like, out of 5, what would you rate this? I was like, I would say 3.5, with 3 being average. Like, you go in and it's what you expect. I would say a little bit more than that. Not a lot, but enough where I was like, okay, I had fun. It's not a movie I'd probably buy on Blu-ray. Maybe, I don't know. But I had a fun time. My wife had a fun time. It was a nice Saturday night, Friday night, go to the movies, watch a movie. It had that feeling. Honestly, this is kind of a turn your brain off kind of movie, and you're just there to enjoy it. I think it's getting pretty bad reviews. I thought it was okay. Just like, it was fine. So that's about it for this. If you don't care to watch it, don't watch it. If you're interested, I'd say go watch it. It's mildly entertaining. So that is going to be it for this video. And as always, I appreciate you watching. I'm out.